Hello, everybody. Hello, YouTube. Hello, art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with another video. This video is another one in my Hunter Biden Fall 2021 exhibit series. This is going to be the second painting that I review. Like I said in the previous one, I'm going to try to get through the ones that I consider to be the most likely candidates for self-portraits in the whole series, the whole collection that was shown for this 2021 exhibit at the Georges Berger Gallery in New York City. And let me not do that right now. Let me just scroll by. I was thinking I wanted to maybe touch upon something again, but no, I'll save it for later. This is the painting that we're gonna look at today. It is very obviously titled Self-Portrait. So yeah, this is definitely one that qualifies, that fits into the self-portrait category for what we're doing here. As far as what I'm doing here, I'm trying to get through the ones that are, like I said, I think pretty obvious self-portraits. And you look at this, and again, I'm going to leave the link to this gallery and the Hunter Biden page at the gallery in the description of the video. This painting, it's kind of hard to see down here, but it is 48 by 36 inches. So 48 inches, that's 4 feet tall and 3 feet wide. All right. And it's mixed media on canvas. So he's not using Yupo paper here. He's not using the tree-free paper for this painting. It's a canvas, which is interesting. It might or might not mean anything, So that's one of the dangers of analyzing works of art. Sometimes you see stuff that you want to see. That's an issue. It can be an issue. And then people say, well, that might be there, but it also might not be there. Or maybe you're just seeing what you want to see. Maybe it's, what is it called? Confirmation bias or something like that. So you've got to be careful if you're trying to do this. Like I talked about in my video, how to look at art. There's a couple of good guides or sources online that I showed you, and there's many more that have to do with the same subject that do a pretty okay job of pointing you in the right direction, but they can't do the walking for you. I mean, that should go without saying. Unfortunately, it doesn't. But a lot of people need to be told, yeah, no, I can only take you so far, or this source, this instruction manual of sorts can only do so much. You've actually got to get your hands dirty and do the work yourself. And that goes for art analysis too, just like everything else in life. So I'm going to talk about this one, and I've opened it in another tab. Here it is. Should I do a close-up? Yeah. Well, yeah, why not? Look at this. Look. Ooh, the magic of the internet. You can just close up and zoom in and zoom out. Oh, see. Zoom in and zoom out of the painting and do your thing, like looking at it or analyzing it or what have you. So let me go ahead and just say what I have to say. This, I say this every single time, and every single time I mean it, but it turns out like I turn out to be a liar. I always prove myself to be a liar. I say I'm gonna try and make this video short, and then 45 minutes later, I'm still talking. So maybe I shouldn't make any more promises about that, or even try. Let me just get through this. Now, like we looked at in those sources on how to write an art history essay or research paper or whatever, what you'll see in those suggestions or those how-tos is just get a pen and a piece of paper and just write down what you see. And same thing goes for this painting. Write down what you see. There seems to be a lot of blue. There's some yellow, there's some red, but it's overall blue with smatterings of yellow here towards the center and off to the side, and there's a little bit of red down here. And there seems to be a pretty obvious cube that's drawn here by Hunter. It's a cube that's receding into space. That's what it looks like to me, anyway, at first glance. And the first thing I thought of, especially because I've taken so many darn art history courses, is the first thing I thought of was perspective, right? Perspective, and of course I've got my little links lined up. Wikipedia, good old trusty Wikipedia. Perspective, graphical perspective. What is that? I'll just read this very quickly. Linear or point projection perspective, from Latin let me try to pronounce this beautifully, perspitere. I think I did that okay. Perspitere, to see through. That's where it comes from, is one of the two types of graphical projection perspective in the graphic arts, and the other is parallel projection. Linear perspective is an approximate representation, generally on a flat surface of an image, as it is seen by the eye. That is very important. This is all meant to fool your eyes. Long pause. This is all meant to be a trick of the eye. Another long pause. Why am I pausing? Because this is extremely important. This is what people forget when they look at pictures. This is what people forget when they look at paintings, drawings, photographs, any kind of man-made image, rendering, whatever you can call it. It's meant to deceive your eyes, for lack of a better way to put it. I can't think of another way to say it right now. Yeah, it's meant to fool your eyes and deceive your eyes, to make you feel as though you are looking at something that you could actually step into, if it's a painting, for example. That is the point. That is the reason that they didn't just invent everything in the Renaissance. They were kind of working on it before the Renaissance. But they seem to have brought it to a certain what's the word I'm looking for? They honed it to a certain point in the Renaissance where it became very graceful and beautiful. The Renaissance, there's a lot of beauty in Renaissance art, and there's a lot of eye trickery. As you can see, look at the example that I'm not going to click on this because it's a video and I don't want to do that, but The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, that's the example that Wikipedia uses, that they put up here for at least 1 point perspective. Italian Renaissance, and they list a couple of the people who studied it and wrote treatises on it and incorporated it into their works. All right. So, of course, they mention the Renaissance because, let's face it, the Renaissance was a big deal with regard to perspective, and among other things, But I'm not necessarily here to talk about the Renaissance. I'm here to talk about Hunter and his painting and why it looks the way it does. Okay? So, and they use the Last Supper, which is one of the examples very often used in art history courses for a graphical or linear or point projection perspective, from the Latin to see through. And the point of all of this is to trick your eye so that you feel like you're not looking at a painting or a flat surface, a flat, hard surface. No, like something that you can walk into or walk through, to see through. Because what is perspective? The use of perspective, what does it do to a drawn or a painted image? It creates the illusion of depth. Okay? And what's one of the things that they use in order to do that? Here's another Wikipedia page: vanishing point. A vanishing point is a point on the image plane of a perspective drawing where the two-dimensional perspective projections or drawings of mutually parallel lines in three-dimensional space appear to converge. When the set of parallel lines is perpendicular to a picture plane, the construction is known as one-point perspective, and their vanishing point corresponds to the oculus or eye point from which the image should be viewed for correct perspective geometry. Traditional linear drawings use objects with 1 to 3 sets of parallels, defining 1 to 3 vanishing points. And another one. Not another one, but this one is talked about. Again, if you're taking an art history class and they mention the Renaissance, there's a good chance they're going to mention this guy, Leon Battista Alberti, who first introduced the concept in his treatise on perspective in art, De Pictura. All right. This is important. Again, it's meant to fool you into thinking that you are looking at something that could be part of the real world. For some reason, that's important. I don't know why. I've looked at art for a while. I've thought about art for a while. I still don't know why it's so important. To make something look like it belongs to the real world, or it belongs in the real world. I suppose to make people more interested in it, where maybe more as human beings, we maybe have a tendency to be more interested in things that look, for lack of a better word, quote unquote real. But this obviously doesn't look real. Hunter is maybe messing with the viewer a little bit, I think, because a perspective exercise is, it's basic. That's what kids in art school, that's how they start off with their drawing classes or drafting classes or whatever kind of classes, where they're just learning how to draw. That's taught in a basic low-level drawing course, high school, whatever. And this is what you learn, this perspective thing. And he's made a point of making this so obvious. This cube, this receding cube, this receding cube is kind of, in its own right, a symbol of learning how to draw and learning how to do perspective when you're drawing. And maybe he's saying, forget you, to all the people who are being critical of him as what the article called him, a budding artist. He said he's drawn for a long time, ever since he was a kid. That's what Hunter said. He's always enjoyed drawing. And now he's taking it seriously. He's doing it seriously. As an adult, as a full-grown adult man, he's decided to really pursue this. Not as a hobby, but as a career. This is his new thing, I guess. And he puts this on a painting with this overwhelmingly blue background, and he calls it self-portrait. It looks basic, it looks simple, because it's a it's not even a really good cube drawn to perspective. It's kind of wonky. That it's not. Yeah, he didn't use a ruler, that's for sure. It doesn't seem like it. Maybe he did for these parts, these receding lines, but not this square up front here. And he's he's emphasizing the idea of perspective, which could be a double entendre by Hunter. Perspective in drawing, which here it is, can't be much more obvious than it is, but also perspective in the sense of just looking at things and thinking about them. And what is your position as an individual when you're regarding things and turning them over in your head and wondering about the different possibilities about any given subject, thing, situation. What are the different arguments? What are the different sides? What do people have to gain? What do people have to lose when they tell their stories? Remember, meta-narrative, monomyth, mythology, comparative religion. This whole show and most of Hunter's art, no, not most of it, all of it, in the show, in this fall 2021 exhibition, is about narrative, meta-narrative, stories, fiction. How do you tell? How can you tell if something's fiction or it isn't fiction? And what criteria are you supposed to use? You, the person, the individual, the viewer, the listener, the reader of the story. How do you determine whether or not a story is actually true? How do you know what's a fact and what ain't a fact? And the thing about perspective is it's based in math. These, you have to measure stuff. And it's meant to make the painting or the drawing, such as something by a Renaissance master or whatever, it's meant to make things look real. Like architecture, it's perfect to use for drawing buildings, which is that if you want to go ahead and look at these again, you'll see. I think there were several. Was it this page or the Vanishing Point page? Well, there's a good one. Okay. The earliest extant artwork known to use a consistent vanishing point. It's not perfect. No, it's not perfect at all. But it was done in 1423. So between 1423 and Leonardo da Vinci's Last Supper, which was what? I want to check so I don't lie. Because I don't like to lie. 1490, was it 1498? There's no date here, and I'm not going to go look it up now, but where was I? It's really good for drawing buildings. I'm going to click on this. Wow. It's really good for drawing buildings, cityscapes, stuff like that. There are problems in this painting. This is definitely not perfect, but they're trying. They sure are. Or Masolino da Paniciales, St. Peter healing a cripple and the raising of Tabitha. Which kind of takes me on another little segue. Just very briefly, looking at art, you can learn a lot about history by looking at what kind of stories they put there. This is obviously a religious story. So, and St. Peter, I would assume that would be this guy. And this would be Tabitha. Or maybe this is the cripple over here. Again, Hunter's talking about precisely this. And how does this shape? How does it mold everybody, every human being who's alive and who's been alive and who's going to be alive, their understanding of what's real and what's not when it's shaped by narrative? Now, talked about that. And I wanted to show this to you in the context of this. This a cube, receding cube. This thing by Salvador Dali from 1954. Crucifixion or Corpus Hypercubus, an oil on canvas painting by Salvador Dali, a non-traditional surrealist portrayal of the crucifixion. It depicts Christ on a polyhedron net of a tesseract hypercube. It is one of his best-known paintings from the later period of his career. This thing, this crucifix is comprised completely, I'll enlarge it, completely of cubes. This is so weird. And then beneath, Dali was a surrealist through and through. And then the tiles underneath this crucified figure, I'm not saying it's Christ because I don't know, but the tiles beneath this crucified, these black ones that are again in a cross shape, they look like this black cross on the floor is a shadow of this up above it. So this crucifix is made out of cubes. There are 4 cubes here. And this is down here, the woman who's posing and playing the Mary Magdalene role in this painting is Salvador Dali's wife, Gala. And that would lead me to possibly believe that this figure here might be Salvador Dali himself. But I don't know. I can't say for sure because I'm not sure. But something about cubes, y'all. Something about cubes is very peculiar. They seem to be a symbol of some sort. They seem to be in their own right, or something that can be used as a symbol, something that can have meaning projected upon them, right? You can, in math, they are very important in mathematics. Don't ask me why, I'm not very good at math, but I know that that they're there, they're used for something, okay? And Salvador Dali, the crucifix here is not a traditional crucifix. Let's just put it that way. If the cube is a symbol, or could be interpreted as a symbol for math, science, and therefore technology, maybe he's making a statement about that. Maybe he's saying math and science aren't that different from religion. I'll repeat that. Maybe, possibly Salvador Dali is saying that math and science and technology are not, I repeat, are not that different from religious belief in its own way, in their own way. I'm just venturing a guess. Is it an educated guess? I don't even know. But I'm saying, I said what I said. Okay. And then there's the lunar landscape, the Da Vinci-esque lunar landscape in the background, and this dark, brooding, ominous sky in the background. And we're looking up. We're meant to look up at this figure. Is Dali using perspective here? Yeah, I guess, to draw the cubes, to draw the crucifix. And that's it. And this crucifix is just hovering, levitating. So weird. But for some reason, Hunter's painting, this quote-unquote self-portrait, made me think of this. I don't know why, and I can't explain why. I don't know. I don't know what about it. If there's anybody out there listening to this or watching this, could you explain it to me? Why this makes me think of this? I would appreciate it so much. And by the way, since I just mention that. I didn't do any church announcements today because I didn't have any. Haven't made a video for a couple of days. Made a couple last week. To see what it's like to make these YouTube videos. I do enjoy it, but it is actually a little bit of work. So I took a couple of days off, and I'm going to try and upload maybe 3 days a week. Hopefully. I'll try to keep to that schedule. And of course, if you like the videos, please do subscribe and hit the like button and comment, share your thoughts. Let me know if you like my little review videos, or if you have any ideas of your own and you're looking at this and you're thinking your own thoughts and having your own opinions and coming to your own conclusions regarding this art, which I would love to hear. So let me know in the comments if you've got anything to say. And that's that, I guess. That's church announcements. One more thing before I finish this video up. I don't know if you're ready for this, but there's a question that people ask about Hunter. They want to know where he is. Where's Hunter? Everybody asks, where's Hunter? I don't know why. I don't know where that. Well, I have an idea. Oh, good heavens! Where's Hunter comes from? Does it come from Donald Trump? Did Donald Trump make that popular? I don't know. But where's Hunter? Oh, and if you look up this phrase, it doesn't matter where it come from. But if you look up this phrase, where's Hunter? Oh, you'll find a lot of these hits online. Where's Hunter? There's T-shirts. Did you just see that T-shirt? It says, where's Hunter? Who's going to wear that? There it is. Where's Hunter in this little square here? I don't know why people keep asking that question. But, of course, I have my little theories. But I'm not going to share them here because I don't want to be... I don't want people to think I'm cuckoo. But that's the question. It's all over, especially in 2020. They were asking that a lot. Or it was on the internet a lot, as far as I can remember. Well, you guys, you might not believe me until I point it out to you. But Hunter kind of answers that question himself. In this painting that I'm looking at here today, that I'm reviewing today, the self-portrait. I don't know if you're ready for this, but what's the question? Where is Hunter? The answer is right here. Right here in this painting, hiding in plain sight, right in front of your eyes. Should I let you know where he is? Should I let you know where he is in this painting? And another figure is here too? Another human figure? There's two human figures. What the Hunter is in this painting, yes, it is a self-portrait. Through and through, but not an obvious one. He's here. And I won't even let you know where he is. I'm hoping that somebody will comment and say, oh, I found him. But I also want to say one more thing before I close out. This cube, this receding into space, creating a sense of depth, comes from the tradition of trying to perspective fool people and trick their eyes. This cube. If you look at it like this, we're looking at the cube as a receding cube, as a perspective drawing, but it could also be a pyramid. Look at it. This is the tip of the pyramid up here, and these are the walls of the pyramid. Interesting, no? You can see through it. You can see all the blueness and all the stuff through it. I don't know what to think. Hunter is showing us where he is. He's behind this cube. But let me know if you can see him. Let me know when you find him. Alright? He's behind the cube. I'm not going to make it that difficult for you. Go ahead and look at it. Zoom in. Let me know what you find, what you see. I can't think of anything else to say about this painting now. I've been talking for coming up on 30 minutes. So, I will go ahead and try to keep my promise of not talking so much. I'm going to go ahead and sign off pretty soon on the next episode of the Hunter Biden art review series. I'm going to talk about another painting, the third and last one that I will designate it for personally, in my opinion, as an indirect, or maybe not so indirect, self-portrait. I will show you next time which one it is. I'm not going to give you a preview. I'm just going to surprise you. But until then, I want to thank you for watching this video. I want to thank you. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you're going to subscribe, thank you. If you hit the like button, thank you. If you don't hit the like button, that's fine too. If you don't like the video, let me know in the comments how I can make it better, or what you think I should include next time I talk about Hunter's paintings or whatever else. And that's that. I will go ahead and bid you until next time. Bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody. See you next time.